Hey gang, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of the Fishing Teacher, and really appreciate you guys watching today's video. And today we're going to talk about when a chatterbait outproduces other lures in the same situations here. This is one of the most highly productive bass fishing lures over the past 20 years. And there's certain situations that they will just simply outfish everything else. We're going to give you guys some tips and advice on that. And real quick, guys, just want to remind you, you probably heard me talk about this before, but I'd like to invite everybody to please swing by fishthemoment.com and check out our summer lake map breakdowns. If you're struggling to catch fish on one of your favorite lakes, this is a great resource to get you some good spots and get you right on top of the fish there. And I'll put the link in the description here for the lake map breakdowns so you can check that out. Much appreciated. Okay, guys, now this, if you're new to the channel, just getting started in fishing, this is what's called a chatterbait or a bladed jig. Other people call it bladed jig. And it's basically just a jig. It's a lead head jig with a hook. It's got a little keeper on it. And it's got a metal blade affixed that swivels on the eye of the jig head there. And what happens is when you reel this thing through the water, it wiggles side to side real hard like that. And it creates a tremendous amount of vibration. It's almost like a metal type crankbait here. And guys, I'm gonna say that in the world of bass fishing over the past 5 years especially, there's probably been as many or more bass, especially quality bass, caught on a bladed jig or chatterbait than any other lure out there. It's extremely productive. It's a really, really good bait. If you don't fish one, you definitely need to try it out. So let's talk a little bit about when the chatterbait or the bladed jig is good. The number one situation for a bladed jig is if you're fishing over submergent grass. So if you live on a lake that has grass growing anywhere between like a foot to even 6 or 7 foot under the water, bladed jig is one of the best, if not the best, bait to fish it. And what you want to do with this thing is when you have the grass out there, it doesn't, regardless of how deep the grass is, it could be that far into the water, or it could be deeper. Try to keep this thing barely, if this is a strand of grass coming up off the bottom, always try to keep your bait just sort of ticking that grass there. Let it fall down far enough, reel it through the water. And if you feel it hit some grass, or if you feel the vibration stop a little bit, just pop it like that, pop it through that grass. And that's a lot of times when they catch it. So grass and a chatterbait is probably the number one thing, but you can catch fish on any situation with it. You can catch them on shallow rock. You can catch them on shallow wood, around boat docks, anywhere. I mean, you can just go down an open bank and catch it. And the best time to fish it when you're not fishing around grass is probably during the pre-spawn. It's like, and when I'm talking about the pre-spawn, I'm talking about when the water temperatures in the spring just first start to rise up into the 50s. Now, when the water temperatures start to get, 52, 55, 57 degrees, usually like in March and April, this is a great time to fish the chatterbait, just going down the bank, rocky banks, wood, whatever. It's really good there. Another good time to fish it is right now in the summertime, around boat docks. If you got some boat docks and you have water visibility that's like less than, say, 3 foot in clarity, throwing a chatterbait right next to the floats and along the edges of the docks and reeling it just a couple feet under the water is a really, really good way to catch them with that. If you fish up north for smallmouth really love a chatterbait. Just fishing big flats, fishing it really fast just under the surface, another really good way to catch them. But at times, they're just going to bite it better than anything else. So overall, here I'll give you a little tip as far as when it works better or when you need to throw it. If you're catching fish on a crankbait or a spinnerbait, and I don't care if the water is 2 foot deep or 15 feet deep, if you're catching them on a crankbait or spinnerbait, they will bite a chatterbait, definitely so. And a chatterbait will tend to get you a few more bites if the water is really dirty. So if you're fishing a lake that has water visibility of, say, like 6 inches to 1.5 feet, that's when a chatterbait is really, really good, because one of the reasons it makes it so good is this bait puts out a tremendous amount of vibration. When this blade is going through the water like this, your rod tip is just going like that because it's thumping and vibrating so hard. And normally I'll put some type of a trailer on it, just some type of a swim bait trailer. Colors, I'll use a shad pattern like this with a white trailer. Sometimes I'll use like a green pumpkin color and maybe put a little chartreuse trailer on it to make it look like a bluegill. But regardless, it's a really good bait. If you want to try some, guys, and you've never tried it, I'll put the Baitworks a link in the description for some chatterbaits. You guys can check that out there. So hope it helps out. We'll talk later.